Welcome to episode, what is this, 176? If it's not 76, it's 77, right? All about, man. Welcome to the episode of the Corey Shepherd Podcast. Welcome back to everybody who's listening. Gentle reminder that you could find this on YouTube and they have a little like button and a share button so you can, share the health and the wealth. Don't keep it for yourself. Also that you could find this on any way is listen to thing, right? Remember too, for the people who now come on board, right? It's long. I'm starting to get the long complaints again. No, I never hear that all my life. Nobody never tell me that I know, but I get long complaints now. You have to do this while you're doing other things. When you see you cleaning your house, you see them clothes that you didn't want to fold, that been wanting to fold for how long, it's in the room that you don't use and the bed full of clothes. Put on this and fold your clothes. The clothes go end up fold faster, right? You see all this at a growth between your bathroom where you're supposed to clean how long now? And them set of white scaling all over the glass. And you take this, put it on, it go help you finish fast. The exercise that you're supposed to be doing that you ain't doing one bit of. And the gym you're supposed to be going. Put on thing like this to listen to. And all them things go happen faster. No, I did forget last week. I tell all you I end up on a few topics a little long last week. I'm grateful for the feedback too. I am done trying to predict what you like and thing because I finished last week's episode saying that it's garbage, it's sanitation. I almost deleted the whole episode and didn't put it out. But surprisingly, people was very engaged in what we had to talk about. Not that I remember what we was talking about, but people was very engaged in it. So I appreciate that. I'm done. I'm just talking about whatever the topics I see in front of me, right? But it make me forget to say Happy International Women's Day. You know what I mean? Happy International Women's Day to all the women who listen to this podcast, all the women in my life, and all the women who tolerate the men who just put this on in their car and put this on in their house while they're working and things. Salute to all you. Who here in many background? Hey, you only hear many background. Only listen from time to time now, man. What happened? The numbers ain't looking good. I had a little bit of quandary this week. I say, well, I could do one or two things. I could do the right thing. You know, they say the devil on the shoulder and the angel on the next side. The angel tell me to line up a selection of uplifting calypsos by women, for women, and about women, which I did. Right? I did. I have it. But the devil telling me to go patriarchal and sing man singing about woman and, you know what I mean, objectification and all these things. The devil telling me to do it, right? It's not me. So let me at least try and start on the right foot, right? This is not going to end well, right? So enjoy this, right?
You want to help to mind your family. You want to help your man financially. But nowadays it's really very hard to get a job as a girl in Trinidad. You're looking out to find something to do. You meet a boss man who promised to help you, but when the man laid down the condition, nothing else but humiliation. You want to see your whole anatomy. You want to see where your doctor never sees. You want to do what your husband never do. Still you will know if the scams will hire you. Well, if it's all this humiliation to get a job these days as a woman, brother, they go keep their money, I go keep my honey and die with my dignity.
Thing to raise your paws in.
Some of them done pack up already. Yet they sit down, waiting like my PP, using the power of their cash and position, waiting to abuse and exploit any woman. They get you walking out to go to bed with him. Become slave, second wife and deputy. And as the next woman come on the line, he start to tell you you ain't good, you can't whine. They want to see you in some fancy pose. They want to see how you look without your clothes. They want you cock up like a bloody acrobat. The wife at home, they can't ask she to do that. So before I had to lick down somebody, because I let the police come for me. Tell them they could keep their money, I go keep my honey and die with my dignity.
have an obsession with perfect songs, right? And I don't think it's get more perfect than this, the music, the arrangement, the space between the verses. No chorus, it's verse alone. I don't think that much it come closer to a perfect song than this. Taking verse number.
Looking for work, you might bounce up a fellow who might be looking quite handsome and macho. You tell yourself you want to work with him, so you decide to try a ratchet free. But when you're done, it's then you get to know he wife leave he and gone long time ago. With all the cash he have, he is a failure. The man is nothing but a blinking soup, yeah. They want to feel up your navel and your breast. They want to see if you are loader on your chest. The things they want to do you with their hand, like if they're searching to find the promised land. I am a woman who don't make any skylark. Before I slap them and they die of heart attack. Tell them they could keep their money, I go keep my honey and die with my dignity. Blinking prostitute. You have a mole on your back, they want to see. They want to see if you are marks on your belly. They want to know how much man you had before, and if you're strong enough to take any more. I have a pride and I have my ambition. I want to hold my head up high as a woman. So brother, they go keep their money,
Let me keep my honey and die with my dignity. Guys, what the angel tell me to play? You know what the devil tell me to play? Remember, it's not me.
Even a fortune teller couldn't tell you more about woman than me. Don't care how a woman clever, I sure smarter than she. I could size up any woman in here or on the street, even though we have never met. I could tell you if she's sour, if she's salt, if she's sweet,
If she easy or she hard to get.
or if her eyes start becoming kinda sleepy when you watch she fix. My advice is to take it kinda light, maybe she's out for tricks. But if she smile with dimples on she cheek and then she laugh and she got open teeth, don't let she get away. She have a bag of sugar down there. Don't let she get away.
On International Women's Day. Pakati kitty. Welcome to episode. I said that already. Welcome. It's between a rock and a hard place. All you have to work with me, right? All the week was. All I do. Again, I always tell all have a productive week and I do check back in to see all the week was productive. It was nice. I had an interesting weekend this weekend. Before we get into more serious issues, another class today. Sorry. Next class. But I spent a little time over the weekend. I've been getting a call. Salute to a lady by the name of Majo, right? I had to tell all about Majo. Majo is a woman who I met through the little parang line I used to have, I tell all the parang side, one by one, people start to pass away and things. So the old boys and them move on. And a part of we life now, for those of us who in the 40s, the late 30s, the early 40s, whatever, we see transition, this is the bridge age. I didn't know when I become this age. I find like I'm feeling like I still used to feel when I was young. Not my body, just my being. My body feeling it, but my being is feeling the same way as when I was 20. Not feeling no different. I was talking to a partner recently, and he tell me, he say his son is 18 now. He say when I walk in the road with my son, I see woman watching me. I realize it's my son they watching them. The time passed. But we had a bridge kind of age. We had a transition age between the people who lay the part for us and the people who we here to lay the part for, between the youths and the experienced, right? We right in the zone now. And Marge is a woman who we used to go by all the time. Every time she have a birthday, she have a little lime. She used to invite us home by her. And, a little parang lime in the yard. We go there and we play the same songs every time. We tell the same jokes and just a little fun and family and vibes, you know what I mean? And I realized I dropping the baton as the transition guy. I dropping the baton as the 40-something-year-old because she always coming me to come down. She said, boy, I just call you when I'm a little lime. I just call you. It doesn't come nowhere. I say, Marge, is your birthday are coming, regardless of what happened. So look at Oliveri. Oliveri is an ex-quattro man who always on the scene too. So I say, you know what? It's easy to go and stand up there and play for people by yourself, regardless of if it's friends, family, or strangers. It's always nice to have a little accompaniment in music. So I say, you know what? I dust off my quattro and go down the road and think, I ain't do much for the Christmas. Let me go by Marge and play some music. And I'll tell you, I enjoyed that little lime, I enjoyed that little sweat, you know what I mean? We play some nice little songs that I remember that I know. And we had a nice little time down in the backyard. And it reminded me of something too, because the simplicity of that lime. In other words, you just call people you know, friends and family, you put some chair in the yard, and everybody have a time. And, the music end up being the glue that keep everything together. It have a bottle of white oak there and a bottle of punch, and when that done, it done. Marge make coffee, we come out because we lime till too late in the night for me. But that is what the lime is. And it have a simple way them things just come together. And it's remind me, I'm talking to myself here a little bit, right? But it's remind me to keep things uncomplicated. Because if I had to have a birthday party now, as I've been trying to do for the past few years, I always trying to figure out, well, all right, well, I had to get a bar, it had to have scotch, whiskey, Malibu, wine, beers. I just thinking about how everybody could be happy and comfortable and do as much as I could do. And you know what I mean? I had to get a DJ and I had to do somebody decor. And just remind me that, listen, none of them things really don't matter. They really don't matter. What it matters is that we come together. And the thing about friends and family and loved ones is the same thing like us. When I go by Marge, I don't care what it have. It don't matter to me what it have. If I reach and rum done, I drink water, you know what I mean? If Coke's done, it chase with whatever. It really don't matter. What matter really is the coming together and the little camaraderie and thing. And I see something I ain't seen in a long time. Remember when back in the day, this reminds me of a woman by the name of Mommy Janet. I had a family friend. I don't know what Mommy Janet is. An aunt. She used to babysit all of we when we were small, you know what I mean? And one of the things that for some reason stick out in my... Because we used to have this home tour, but somehow I remember this from by Mommy Janet more than anywhere else. You remember when you buy an orchard long time, which we only used to get on Sunday, by the way, the big orchard, not the little small one without the sugar now these children having. The big orchard, right? In the Tetra Pak. How they used to, when that done, they fill up that with water and they put that, and that is the ice. Again, simplicity. Marge bring out one of them things. She knocked that with the back of a pot spoon and everybody had ice to make their little lime. Now we have to buy this fridge now because God forbid you have to open your fridge door to get ice out of it. Everybody want ice maker on the outside of the fridge. You understand? Again, I told myself, right? But simplicity. And can we go back to that? Can I go back to that? Where life just simpler and cheaper than all this sort of fruit that we're trying to put that really at the end of the day don't matter because who cares where the ice come from when the lime nice? Especially with them Tetra Pak ice, like they don't melt at all. They make a big block. But when you take one big block ice and you put in your drink, it holding out for much longer than these little fridge ice, you know what I mean? These sort of fridge ice and things don't work so great for drinks. But it's just a little reminder that I had a great time there over the weekend. It brought me onto thinking about something, right? And I have a class going on now about globalization. And I started to realize, listen, all the things we're talking about in class, you could find so much, because the idea behind a globalization class is to show you how the world coming closer together and it affects business and business dealings, right? So the idea is this. When you look at the removal of things like trade barriers, right? Trade barriers is usually two categories of trade barriers, really. One is the monetary one, and one is had to do with non-monetary. So, like duties and things. Talking about that. Here, what? Thanks for everybody who tell me web source is the best, because Aeropost half killing me there with price and taking 3-4 weeks to come in. I finally signed up for a web source address, and when you order thing on Amazon, within 1 week, that by your doorstep by web source. Thank you very much for people who tell me about web source. But you know when you check your bill, it is show the shipping and duties, shipping and handling and all them things, but it show you taxes for duties. all that is what you call tariff barriers, right? So when they say barrier, what they mean is that it make it hard to bring in something. It's make it a little harder. If there had no kind of duties or nothing, then we will be important things, right? We go talk about why them duties and thing important and why column 7% important at some point in time. But that's what they're talking about. And then the non-tariff barriers, for those of us who remember, thing like the negative list where you couldn't bring in apples and grapes back in the day, right? So that was what. So those things make the world come closer together. And then you have things like unifying currencies and one common customs policy in different regions and all these things. So we supposed to be in CSME right now, right? Caribbean single market economy, bringing all the Caribbean islands together, and it should be one market. We headed towards at least. Are we discussing one single Caribbean dollar yet? Or are we still discussing all these different kind of monopoly monies and so on? I don't know. But the point that we talk about, and this particular class are doing, they have an assignment to do on sustainability, because sustainability is one of the more popular topics now in business, particularly in first world countries, right? So these degrees that I lecture in, they're from England. So a lot of the examples and so on that we use would be coming out of places like England and the European Union and so on. The biggest brands in the world, a lot of them are from the States. So you find that the U.S. business landscape, even when I do my master's back in the day, we used to study the U.S. business landscape. I remember one little book we had buy in a course that had covered things like Arthur Lockjack and the great things he was able to do with Associated Brands and a few other local entrepreneurs. The man who runs Sasha Cosmetics, I want to say, is Maharaj. I hope I have that right. Mohammed family, who would have started SM Jalil and so on and so on. But mostly is studying the U.S. landscape. And the sustainability thing is a big part of what business is in the U.S. now, because if you're using sustainable business practice, when they say sustainable business practice, they mean it's all-encompassing to mean environmentally friendly and taking care of mankind and the flora and fauna and all these things. So you take care of the animals, you're not doing things to harm the environment. So it's sustainable in that if we continue to do business this way in the long run, the world will continue to become a better place and continue to develop, right? Rather than we doing business in a way where we are. Look at the mining situation in Trinidad. People is just not mining, quarrying. People is just blast, leave the hillside bare, and all of a sudden it's flooding. That is not a sustainable practice. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you do that over the long run, we go have problems, right? So just that little line by Marge and saying down and talking about it and just enjoying the simplicity of it and the spontaneity of it and the understanding that we could do it without anybody having to put out no set of money, so nobody ain't hurting when we all come together and have a good time, which is what we know traditionally, right? It made me realize that a lot of things, and I was talking about this in class last week too, a lot of things that we learning in these master's degrees and these foreign degrees, it's things that we know already, because when they tell me about sustainability, thing like, every house you go in Trinidad and Tobago have about 100 plastic bag inside a plastic bag. So you can't tell me about recycling. Everybody keep all their butter containers, some more than others. Somebody have all the butter containers they have in their whole life. So to my boy Pablo. My boy Pablo saying the other day he went by muddy, throw away all them butter containers. He said the butter container and them get white. He said, nah man, throw away these, get some fresh ones and come again. But again, when you think about it, them butter containers that we keep and use all the time, that's thing that would have been disposed of in the environment and might not be biodegradable and all these kind of things, right? So even when I hear Massey and them telling me, well, bag and we sustainable, I think we practice a lot of these things about sustainability already. We don't label it with these things and have the definitions that go behind it, but how much of us have a kitchen garden or had thing we could go pick we own mint leaf, pick we own shadow benny, we own thyme, all them kind of things. So it's like we have a way of living here that we giving up openly for so-called development. Let me use my example, right? You're giving up the majo kind of lime for what you think is a fancy kind of lime when both of them had the same level of fulfillment. So all you're doing is spending more money to reach to the same point. Stay with me, right? I'm going somewhere. When I look at, as a child, he's have a sweet drink called You Say Pop. Oh, let me remember You Say Pop. All like the hills. If you remember You Say Pop, you have pains in your joints right now. And the You Say Pop thing, it used to come in a kind of can thing. We used to sit down and scrape that on the ground, scrape it. Sometimes it's a long time you had to scrape it for, and the top used to pop off. And now we have a cup. And that was the scene on the block when they come out in St. James and they used to pop cup. A man know, well, all right, we know how to do it thing. You know, we used to do that. We used to take hardware material and make toy. We used to take carbide and bust that and make that into an enjoyment. Now, you have to go buy fireworks and spend thousands of dollars to do the things that we used to do for next to free. It's kind of weird, no? You get a little picture. El pan I used to hear back in the day, but it's a paint can we used to use. And you bore a hole in there, you put some carbide in that, you light that, boom! It's the same. So again, we abandoning the major line where we spending less money, right? And we going and deliberately spend money, and the outcome is exactly the same. It make me wonder, you know, it bringing my whole life into question. Again, in St. James, that a place, well, you go know it as Courts now. That used to be Juicy Corner, right? The corner along Circular Road and the Western Main Road, opposite the police barracks. It's a place named Juicy Factory that used to do bottle recycle, or bottling for one of them soft drink, must be cannings or Juicy, I guess. And we know about buying thing in the little shop in the area by way and taking that bottle now and carry it back. I remember I used to collect them Pepsi bottle. You used to get 25 cents for a Pepsi bottle. When I carry back 4 Pepsi bottle, I get 2 fudge. You know what I mean? You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with these kind of deals. So when they're telling you now about supporting local and buying, I forget what I was listening to on a podcast the other day about not just buying from the big conglomerates and the big brand name places, but also just supporting your domestic business and those kind of things. They have a word for it, and all you go help me with the word, right? All you know I ain't so bright. Outside of sustainability, they're talking a lot about this idea of localization and buying local. But I think to myself, like, that is exactly what you used to do. I used to do that all. That was how we used to live. We used to buy by Miss Millie and buy around the corner here and buy around there. That's where we buy little snacks and little, you know, sugar cake and fudge and thing with somebody who right there in the area. In other words, you're making your area, you're helping to develop your area. If you were plumbing thing, you go by Owen. If you were electrical, you go by Barbara. If you were a TV fix, you go by Larry. That's another thing. I was reading a whole thing about repurposing. I reading this to teach that class, you know, as if I had to study this to think, but I talking about it's already in me and it's already in the people who I talking to, because when you talk about repurposing thing, we as the kings are retiring church clothes and make it home clothes. You had a long pants, you think you cut off that, and now you have a short pants, that is home clothes. Your old shoe is turned into yard work, right? So in terms of repurposing, and we also have a strong repair culture locally here. I think up to today, we still have a very strong repair culture in that. In the most simple level, you remember when you had a rubber slipper, you had a little rubber ding. When that bust, what you used to do? Buy a next one? Absolutely not. I don't know if it was coming out of not having or lack, but you run a small nail in the bottom of that and your slipper good to go for a while again. Sometimes your heel is on the ground. Sometimes your heel on the ground. But again, the slipper serving the same purpose that the Prada and the Ferragamo and all them kind of things, and the Nike and the Adidas and the On Cloud and all these brands, it's the same thing. So again, more and more we're spending more and more money to reach to the same point. I was thinking about the fridge and them thing too, and I starting to. There's a point in the course where we talk about something called built-in obsolescence, and all you tell me for your experience in that too. Tell me how long your mother and them fridge last, or your grandmother and them fridge. How long that fridge lasts them, or the washing machine. Remember, the repair culture was part of we since back then, right? So you might have somebody come in to fix it often because it's breaking down. But it breaking down because it's 10 and 15 years old. Salute to Papa, our grandfather in South, right? This man fridge. The fridge has started to rust on the outside, but the inside working. The ice making inside it like no. So the body of the fridge starting to go, and the fridge, the guts working. Whereas we now, we living in the reverse. I'm talking to myself, right? When I say we, I mean me. We living in the reverse, where it seems as though the outside of the fridge and how it looking matter more than if the fridge cold and it making ice. All you go tell me if I'm alone, but The fact that the fridge is a stainless steel and a double door and this handle, and them things start to become more important. And the reality is that the fridge not lasting here 10 years. When I buy a fridge the other day, it's the other day again, Stacey's always remind me how old the things we have is. She ain't complaining, but she just remind me, like, I just think, well, every time I buy something, I feel like, no, buy it. And she's like, yeah, that's like 7, 8 years old. And I remember, I was like, oh, God, Jesus. But the reality is this. When I buy that fridge, I thought I done buy fridge in life. I thought I when I grew up in St. James, we had a fridge. That is it. Punto final. We had a stove. That stove lasts about, for my whole life till I move out of it, that stove was good. And then they eventually lose. And too, we had a stove and one burner gone. We just work with the next 3 burner. We keep that stove until it only had one burner working, and it was a electric stove, right? But the electric stove with the ring coil? The coil bend a kind of way. You had to put a knife and prop it up and them kind of thing for it. And we just keep them thing. But I'm not sure if we practicing the best way. It's like we get a fella in class say it this way. He said that we give up the things that we have and we give up the way that we live to seek a better life, right? And when we gave it up, somebody's selling it back to us now. The things we used to have for free, we allow somebody to sell it back to us now and put us in a worse state. All of us grew up where we used to go market and them thing and buy food and thing. That again is supporting the domestic or the local business thing, right? But also, when you leave to go in the market, where you used to walk with, you have a 3-4 market bag. Or you remember the market bag, and then you have a 3-4 market bag. You go, you fill your market bag. So the idea of sustainability, recycling, repurposing, we've known that for our whole life, right? Our whole life. And then the one that I always talk about and it bothers me a lot is this organic food movement. I was asking the class this week, I said, but free range chicken. What is that? How come somebody could sell peppercorn and them fellas could sell free range chicken? It's an odd thing. We grew up in places where it had chicken and there was free range. It had a cub, but them fowl never used to sleep in no cub. Them fowl never lock up in no cub. You had to lock up the fowl in the cub and it's a Lego dog and them guys. Fowl sleeping in the tree. So the thing about it is like the organic nature. We are common fowl all we life. And I see anything now talking about organic egg when we are common fowl egg making here. So again, it's like we the Majo lime versus my lime. You know what I mean? We giving up the things that we have. We want to live in a place now where it's residential and it's gated and it's nice and have a veranda with a 3-bedroom and air conditioning out and tiling out your porcelain tile and glass fixtures and whatever it is. All them kind of things is what we're looking for. And to go in an area now where you can't mind no fowl at all. Although, salute, there's a fella inside by we here who have fowl. He having fowl, right? But it's not socially acceptable to have a whole set of fowl in your yard. And not socially acceptable to have a rundown thing to kill to eat every week. It's more socially acceptable to just dial 2850777, that the number me, and they come and they bring it on a bike for you and you get your fowl so. But again, you grew up in a place where if you wanted fowl, you just catch a fowl. You know what I mean? You kill the fowl and you catch it. That was the same organic thing now that we're paying a pound and a crown for. All this come back to mind against the backdrop of me seeing a guy who used to go in the gym with a DJ called Raw Fusion. Was posting, I think with Ezekiel bread, right? Is flourless bread. It's good for vegans and them things too. So I suppose there's no egg and them kind of thing. Although to be honest with you, I just buy it and I eat it today. I know that's the I know that the purpose of the thing. But it's flour-free bread. A man like me who like bread a lot. If I could stay away from the flour a little bit, I could lose a pound or at least maintain where it is. So I just try to buy the Ezekiel bread. I see he put it as $120 for a bread. When you check it online, it's about $6 US for the bread if you're buying it there. Another guy, salute Nigel Nicholson from Star Radio, was saying that he traveled the other day and he forgot to buy something to bring back. That way we come to buying bread to bring back because the price of bread skyrocketing so high. So it's just that was an interesting revelation I had. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure if the revelation was just because the white folk had run out and I started drink punching. So, you know, sometimes substances just have you in much deeper thought than you plan to be. You know, substances just carry you away. But it ties back into what we were talking about last week with your boys and them in KFC. I see the KFC boycott looking like it growing strong. Should I applaud that? It looking like it growing strong. I tell you, price is not enough for you to boycott. But if people feeling culturally offended or feeling like your remarks was racist or anything, although they try to distance themselves from Alex Mute, right? But the name, that is a very hard thing to move from. Or to change the perception of because of what was said. And I see they come out with a little $35, 2 pieces of chicken, 2 set of fries, or whatever it is, and no drink. People upset about that. So it would be interesting to see again how long the boycott lasts. And again, some people was talking to me about the episode and stuff. My intention is not to steer anybody away from buying the little fowl, you know. You buy a chicken and thing and enjoy your life, yes. You do you do you. You know, so the organic thing and common fowl. Me raising no fowl, you know. But if that's what you want, you do it. You have to satisfy your needs and your family needs and them kind of thing. But it's just the alternative is what I presented. So not just I saw Warren Buffett talk about investing one time. And he said he's only investing in businesses that he like and businesses that he understands. So if he like a product, he will invest in it. So what he's saying is just basically, if you like Prestige Holdings products as much as I do, maybe just take a $10 every now and again and buy a share or two. You know what I mean? You could start with small amounts. You know, you could literally open a brokerage account and buy one share if you want. It's no minimum order. Don't let them tell you it's no minimum order neither. It go cost you a little percentage on the $10, right? But if you take $100 every month and you buy some Prestige Holdings shares, well, first you got $1,200 in Prestige Holdings shares at the end of the year. But remember that every time you buy it, if it's $10, you have 10 shares, give or take, right? So by the end of the year, you have 120 Prestige Holdings shares. If you do that for 10 and 15 and 20 years, you're good to go. I always remember George Umbala Joseph. When I first got interested and understood what the stock exchange was, salute to Miss Allen, our Kong's teacher in Tranquil, right? She had set up when I was doing A-levels in Tranquil, she had set up a visit to the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange. I think we walked downtown from Tranquil and we went into the stock exchange and they talked to us about shares and stuff. And that is what made me know you could buy shares and what it is. And I remember back then buying Flour Mill shares and TCL shares. I didn't know how much money I'm making. I think I spent $400 in total. I wonder if I still have any shares, man. I must sell that. No, I must sell that. But there's some little shares, you know what I mean, in each one. But under the simple notion that you must eat flour, despite what the Ezekiel bread. Well, I mean, now that you see the price of Ezekiel bread, you might well need to eat flour. No pun intended. And cement thinking, you know, cement, you had to eat, you had to live somewhere and you had to eat. My simple mind at must be what 17, 18 years old, that's what I was thinking at the time. And I want to tell you, if I could if my memory any good at all, my guess would be I pay about $4 for them shares, if I remember, because the $400 I would have been probably trying to buy 100 shares or 50 shares in each one. Every one of them was about $4 if I remember right. I could go back and check now to see what them share prices might be now. Let me see if I could find NFM. Always find these things, bro. Only making the stock exchange a little hard. Oh God, well I would be losing money because NFM shares is $2 it looked like, so that didn't work out great. Let me see what TCL shares looking like. TCL. The stock exchange site need a little pace on them. Oh, well, two terrible examples. Because we lost in money both ways because both of them is about $2 on something cents and it was $4 then. But the one I wanted to guide you to that Umbala was talking about was Republic Bank. I think you will see that as RFHL, Republic Bank Financial Holdings Limited, I believe is what it stands for. Yeah, Republic Bank. Republic Bank shares is now $120, right? He said when Republic issued shares, if the price I remember right, he said the initial issue was $2 a share. And he buys some shares there. You go and work out what the percentage difference is on that. And if you was paying $100 in that every month for a year, as hard as $100 might be to come by then. Look at what the difference would have been now to then. I also remember, as a more recent example, First Citizens, they still here? FCI is First Citizens. First Citizens Bank had offered shares I want to say at $21. You remember the whole scandal where they offer local people shares at a different, employee shares at a different price, and some employee buy up a whole set of shares and all them things. I want to say it was $21 or $22 it had come out at. That share price is $49.50 now, and there's a more recent history. So the idea I'm talking about is not, I don't want to say boycott KFC or not boycott KFC. I don't have a position on it. If people feel they should boycott it, because the statements they made, I could see why people go receive them as offensive. Or doublesmen is play an important role in society. I have some issues with doublesmen and things too, because I find the doubles markets and the roti market is the same thing. They don't evolve past a certain point, right? I would try to say it without being as offensive as Alex, right? But they don't evolve past a certain point, meaning there's not a single doubles vendor now who sell the doubles and give you a branded bag to tell you, well, this is my doubles, and work on their own brand recognition and grow the brand in any way. They're content doing the same business model that they would have done over the years. And I have a few things to say about business models today, coming from the great Mariano Brown. But they seem content that way. They don't do much to the business process or the business format. The most innovation they had over the years was to put coconut chutney and mango chutney and about 5 different kind of things. They don't seem to be trying much, you know what I mean? I guess the business works. Good power to you if your business there and making money. Who's me to tell you different? But you don't find a branded bag for doubles or roti nowhere. So when I walk out with a box of KFC, I walk out with a whole advertisement for KFC everywhere I go. The bag branded, the box branded, the same paper bag KFC gave me a thing, you know, but they had the KFC name on it and everybody brand up. So when I eat in KFC now and you say, boy, you're getting hungry, you're feeling, so nobody not ask you where you're eating. If you buying doubles and thing, I'd ask you, well, how that tastes and where you get that? It had nothing to associate yourself with the location or the name or anything like that. Lack of innovation for me too comes from what he was saying in terms of making stores that you could sit down and eat some good at that. Why the hell every road shop? Why it has to be hot? Why it has to be hot? I don't understand. The pepper hot. I was going Wings Roti in St. Augustine. The pepper hot and the place hot is a bad combination. Why it has to be hot? Air condition can't be, with all the money you make over there, air condition can't be that expensive to see you air condition. Make the place comfortable. Why the seats on them have to be hard? Why every roti shop had to have office chair? Office chair? Still have them waiting room office chair in half the roti shop in the country. Additionally, I can't find a roti or a doubles who have a delivery number that is delivered the thing home by you, who have a drive-through, who have an online payment system. I can't find, me I know if it haven't. I just saying I don't know. You might know that it have, but I don't know where it have. So I think he in some ways, I understand the point he bringing across with the lack of innovation and branding and those things. But that doesn't mean to me that the doubles, that KFC means more to the country than doubles. I don't think it does. I think the doubles is more important to our country than KFC could ever be. But I guess it's how you put things across and them kind of thing. If you put things across in a crude way like that, you will see empty stores. And what was interesting to see as well is not just that the stores and them empty, you know, the KFC outlets empty. What was interesting to see is how full Popeyes is. You know what I mean? So what we do is we didn't. It don't seem as though we boycott and find a more sustainable way, like do it home and them kind of thing. We just transfer the 1.3 billion to somebody else. So anyway, I had to deal with this devil and the angel thing. You know what I mean? They are trying my best to stick to songs about women that are from women and uplifting for women. I could play one like that I like a lot.
It's calypso moves.
But this is the original David Ramota alongside Auntie Rose. Just
The Angel Thelma played at the great Calypso Rose. That might be the biggest song, Calypso Rose. You think that's her biggest song? But it's the devil on the next shoulder is the problem. You know, the devil Thelma play big International Women's Day and they chucking me to play this.
What's it? Everyone opposer is a bus conductor. So long a walking, no promotion coming. Instead I old dispatcher want to give me pressure. Since they have women driving, it's with them I'm walking. But he have a problem. He don't want me work with him. Playing he's my friend, but only want me work with the men. Not me. I wanna work on Ira bus. I wanna work on Sarah bus. I wanna work on Janet bus. I wanna work on Margaret bus. Not me on Isaac bus. Not me on Wilshire bus. I'd rather that bus than to work on any man bus. Alright. Working with the woman, I never have problem. Everything does work right, from gas to the headlight. They check on the tire, gas, oil and water. They make sure that the bell is working just as well. But when you work with the men, you always have problem. The bus a leave town, but the blinking bus don't shut down. Not me. I want to work on Ira bus. I want to work on Sarah bus. I want to work on Janet bus. I want to work on Margaret bus. Not me on Isaac bus. Not me on Wilshire bus. I just feel the cuss when they put me on a man bus. Alright. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, dang, 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 dang.
In serious news, Imberts heartened by IMF's positive outlook for Trinidad and Tobago. This is when I call your boy Colin Imbert, right? I know all you always excited to hear about Imbert, right? Finance Minister Colin Imbert said he is encouraged and heartened by conclusions drawn by the International Monetary Fund's mission staff, who found that Trinidad and Tobago's economic outlook is gaining momentum and is predicted a positive medium-term outlook after the recent visit. An IMF staff team was in Port of Spain between February 28th and March 8th. Only bring these fellas on them after Carnival. And met with stakeholders, including government departments, private sector organizations, and state institutions. They then produced an analysis of Trinidad and Tobago's economic data and accompanying statement containing its main conclusions and recommendations. The IMF in its mission concluding statement found that Trinidad and Tobago's economy is undergoing a gradual and sustained recovery for the first time in a decade. No. Let me finish reading here, then we'll get it, right? The IMF has also concluded that the 2024 budget envelope is appropriate to support the domestic recovery and address infrastructure needs. The balance of risk in the medium term is to the upside stemming from additional new oil and gas projects and the implementation of planned structural reform which could boost growth. Structural reform, right? We want to talk about that a little bit too. The Ministry of Finance issued a media release on March 11th in which it interpreted the IMF as saying, in other words, the balance of probability is that our economy will continue to improve with sustained economic growth. So, the IMF, the full statement is also on imf.org for those of you who want to read further, right? But this is from Newsday from Adrian Giornetti. Andrew is not even Adrian. Things bad. I get my contact lenses. Andrew Giornetti. It look like that. Is as close as I could get to right? So the thing about it is this, right? The IMF is a troubling organization. When I say troubling, right, it could be worrisome for countries like us who in the developing side of the world, like developing nations. When I was in school, they used to call it third world, but they don't say third world again. I always used to ask myself when I was learning these things, like, They say it are first world countries and third world countries. And they never say nothing about no second world countries. I always used to interpret that as you cannot go from third to first. You had to pass through second. So what them fellas and them letting you know is they have a gulf there that you cannot cross. They letting you know that you are third world, and third world you shall remain. So little countries like Singapore that managed to... Would Singapore be classified as a first world country? No, let me see. I go and Google it, right? What's the best thing I could come up with? Let me see if ChatGPT go help me. A first world country. Well, it looked like if they're saying the same thing I was saying before. They say Canada, Sweden, Australia, Singapore, and Japan, and France, and Italy fall cleanly into the list of first world countries. So there was some point at which Singapore might have been on the third world side, but they reached the first world status now. Some people saying that what we need in Trinidad to head towards first world status is some more draconian laws and a little bit of dictatorship for a little while, so that we could clean up the place and get rid of the crime and all them types of things. I see a video going wrong on TikTok. The thing's so sad. A woman walking on Charlotte Street, she's working in Tongue, and she walking on Charlotte Street with a beer in her hand, which the comments was focusing on how bad a decision that was. But I want you to appreciate how bad the country is if we're talking about how bad a decision that was. You walking on Charlotte Street and a man just snatch off your thing off your hand and walk away. She was in shock. She said she started to cry. People around her didn't do nothing. That's a thing you hear commonly, yeah? With women especially. Somebody snatch something from them and nobody ain't do nothing. And the reality is that we live in a country where if I see that happen, my instincts might tell me do something. But when I do come home to my family after I try to do something, the whole place go say, boy, you're stupid. You know what I mean? How you getting yourself involved that for? They go say it's just a ban. But there's I don't like to see them kind of advantage. And I advantageous thing. And the woman so right in the video she make, where she say, you working hard for your things and sacrificing for your thing. And somebody could just take it and walk away. I want to add to what she's saying too. You working hard to get things that you now care where comfortable. I save up and she said that's something that her grandmother and them passed on. So imagine who would be the person who make that purchase. Whenever you buy a piece of gold nice for yourself, you spend a piece of money and you're supposed to enjoy that wherever you work for and wherever you get. And you have it now. And we in a place where I had to hide it because somebody coming for it. And I fully well know that if somebody come for it and they get it, I can't do nothing about it because she reach and she tell the police and the police say, well, the most we could do is if we see him, we go stop him. And you know what I mean? I ain't knocking the police because they're probably right and they probably see so much of that. It's like we live in a country where them things it's craziness to think that is what we're waking up to every single day. But again, first world versus third world living, right? And now they like us to say developed versus developing. I think they give us that to say we have hope. Developing song a little better than third world. Third world song like we stuck. Developing song like if we were working on it. So the good news is that the IMF say we're working on it. The question that comes to mind is the IMF's judgment about these types of things, right? The IMF and them, they have a role to play in what called global governance, right? That sometimes could be troublesome. I was reading this week about Haiti having unrest and so on. And Haiti has been constantly in all kinds of different issues, from very, very small or manageable natural disasters anywhere else in the world become complete disasters in Haiti because of the lack of infrastructure. But we have to go and check to see how institutions like the IMF and the World Bank and so on have contributed to where Haiti is today, or failed to help Haiti come out of the situation they're in today, where you have very large countries, maybe 8 to 12 of them, who have so much abundance and wealth that they seem to be using to secure the people in their country as if they have some different humanitarian status than me and you who in a third world country. And they then, because them fellas control the IMF too, right? So then they send people by you to tell you, all right, you're doing a good job over here and there. And that is one story. The other story is when you're not doing a good job and you fall short and you need to borrow money from these fellas. So when they see that it's something called structural reform or structural programs, There's a specific economic concept for they call the structure of your macro environment, right? Where's your policies, what you have in place to run the country from an economic standpoint. So when from the time I hear IMF say structure, I get frightened immediately because the history has been that when people borrow money from the IMF tells you how you have to run your economy. At least they put some structural measures in place, right? We call structural reform. So I would get an idea. If we had to borrow money from the IMF now, I could put a real good guess. I could put a little money on the fact that, you see, URP, DUDE, CPEP, whatever is called that program now, that might be the end of that. You see all the sets of gates, and you could go and study anything. That I think that would be the end of gate if it still had that. Food card, that could be the end of food card. It could be the end of mother grant, wherever you think you become a mother, you get a grant. Nah, no more of that. So they could basically tell you that these non-productive or transfer payments is one of the things they stop first, right? Transfer payments mean you collect money from taxpayers and you transfer it back to taxpayers without the taxpayer necessarily doing anything productive. They're not working for it, or they're not creating anything for it. So it doesn't add to the production stock of the country. Am I going too deep into this? It doesn't add to the production stock of the country. People not making more and more of anything for people to buy. So what happens is you put more money in people's hand, and you don't change the amount of goods people could buy. People will just pay more money for the same products again. I think we talked about this last week. This starting to turn into a class. Maybe I should just play some calypso. This starting to turn into a class fast. But again, where I'm coming from, it creates issues. And we're seeing the issues now. That is the issue with KFC and them, where minimum wage went up. These businesses have to pay people more, because when minimum wage goes up, all wages start to creep up. Not so much hours, right? Mine ain't move. But wages start to creep up, because if minimum wage was $20 an hour before, and it go up to $22.50, and I was paying a security guard $20 an hour, the most basic person are paying $20 an hour as minimum wage, and I'm paying the supervisor now $22.50 an hour. When they raise the minimum wage to $22.50 and I have to pay the security guard $22.50, I cannot pay the supervisor $22.50 still, because the supervisor will say, well, this additional responsibility I have, I walking out, just let me do security. I go do the easier work or the lesser hours or the one with less responsibility without any offense. Just give me the $22.50. So what you had to do now is change her salary to $25. And when the exchequer now was getting $25, you had to pay, yes, it's still an exchequer, $27. So you understand, all wages creep up when minimum wage creep up. So it is going to have a knock-on effect on taxi prices, all food prices, because these businesses that have to pay people, and when their wage bill goes up, the cost of the tax or the additional burden of the cost of the business is going to be passed on to the consumer. It's no two ways about that. That going on down to the consumer, and we're seeing it now, and we're starting to get a decent understanding. I hope people starting to see it, because when they announced it and we were considering raising minimum wage last year, September, I was talking about this then. So I hope you've been listening and following along. You will see it probably somewhere around the point of starting to settle, but it's going to settle at a higher point. All prices throughout the whole country, and this is the issue here. If your productivity not keeping up with your consumption, you go have a problem, right? So at least IMF, the gods and them say, we doing good. Salute to him, Bert and the boys, or whoever was finance minister. I ain't giving no one government or no one party the credit, right? I'm just saying that it's clear that we're doing some things right, in other words. And the thing we're doing right is really finding more gas. I don't think any decision or anything that any one of these governments have done for the last how much years we're independent, it really comes down to finding more gas and so on. And we have other resources that we could use and exploit and benefit from here. I will come to that, right? But as we're talking political parties again, I see a little headline here that I find to be very, very interesting, right? The headline said, Philip gives Kamla ultimatum over Gary. I think Philip Alexander had to be one of the more confusing people in this country. Let me read. This is from The Guardian, right? Philip gives Kamla ultimatum over Gary. I want no part of coalition if NTA is involved. It's from Gail Alexander. National Transformation Alliance leader Gary Griffith says there's currently dialogue with opposition leader Kamla Bissessa, and that current teething issues with the UNC are simply to ensure mutual respect. But PEP leader Philip Alexander has called for UNC's leadership to decide on if Gary Griffith is again going to be a part of any accommodation with the opposition party, suggesting he would want nothing to do with any arrangement that involves Gary Griffith. Yeah, stand on business. These youths and them say stand on business now, you know. All you go on Google or stand on business, meanwhile. Both Griffith and Alexander stated their positions yesterday, and Prasad Bisesa is now at the center of the situation involving both men's parties. This following an apparent softening of tensions after a rift between NTA and UNC was revealed last week. In a statement yesterday, as news surfaced of the UNC-NTA development, Alexander noted that he held a media conference on Saturday. When he say held media conference, he mean he was on Facebook Live. He held a media conference on Saturday where he announced publicly that he'd be endorsing Prasad Bisesa and the UNC. And this was mainly because Gary Griffith has publicly broken with them and there was no longer part of any alliance or accommodation with them. He said, as of Tuesday morning, I've learned that he's now recanting and has announced his intentions to reconnect with them. Let me make this pellucidly clear. Pellucidly is P-E-L-L-U-C-I-D-L-Y. Salute to Cassia Devil Tile, right? When I see these kind of words, I just remember Cassia immediately. Pellucidly clear. I'm going to use that and I'm going to start to tell people pellucidly in a random ways. I do not trust Gary Griffith nor some of the personalities in his orbit. And I will be no part of anything he is a part of. I say so. Alexander added he's of no political benefit to anyone. He's reckless. Wait, hold on. He talking about himself. He talking about Gary. Like, I ain't saying good. He said he is of no political benefit to anyone. His reckless eagerness to do whatever it takes to get what he wants creates a dangerous environment, and I'm not interested in being any part of that. I confused. He talking about somebody else. This is Murray talking. As of this morning, I'm canceling all media appearances. All Facebooks. As of this morning, I'm cancelling all media appearances, all public statements, and all public meetings until the leadership of the UNC decides if Gary Griffith or any of the people he's involved with are again part of any accommodation with them in any capacity. Pending that information, I will inform the public of what my next course of action will be. I could not state that more pellucidly. If I couldn't put that more pellucid than he did. The man say yo, the man say yo. So we firmly back in this cycle of election preparation, right? If you wasn't sure that we was gearing up for election, we there. We in a situation where them Yankees and them election this year, you know. Let's see 2 90-something-year-old men, one half dead and 1 3/4 dead. And them men fighting for election. There's the position we heading into next year, you know. Them fellas and them of ladies and gentlemen, they're starting to gears up. I also saw Kamla Prasad Bisesa come out and say this week that she calling on all these small parties to behave themselves, you know what I mean? She's saying, listen, don't stop all the infighting and them kind of things. So that song to me like a sort of a clarion call to say that if you have a small party, organize yourself and align yourself and start to play nice with one another so we could rope in as much oil as possible, because we're going to need all of this from the Guardian too, right? Gail Alexander is busy in the Guardian. He writes everything about politics. Kamla tells smaller parties to stop fighting each other. The UNC, which is ready for general elections, will close nominations in mid-April and start screening in May. So we hear screening time. What's the situation? JW and them fellas still staying on TV, or they going up? What's he seeing? What kind of names you will see going up here? Will we have our first Trinidad member for we have voting rights for? What's called them candidate? The UNC, which is ready for general election, will close nominations in mid-April. Somebody put me up now. I need content, you know. I signed to run out of things to talk about. I want to put me up for UNC or something. You're getting to talk about, you know. Who has urged smaller parties to fight the PNM, not each other. Quoted here, the time has come for brethren to stop fighting brethren. We have one common enemy, that is the government. Members of the Progressive Empowerment Party led by Philip Alexander attended the meeting, so clearly he's still around. He said tonight, Prasad Bisesa said tonight feels like the election has been called. The Prime Minister has said general elections will be soon. The PNM has been on election footing, and the UNC will now open nominations and screening in April and May. The general election campaign is now in full swing. Whenever you call it Prime Minister, we are ready. If I was going to call it now, but that they don't have such great history with that, right? She said the UNC must not be caught napping. She's saying the UNC is a political vehicle for all. I want to urge smaller parties, please, all energy and fighting spirit should be focused on this wicked government. Wicked. The UNC House remains open to all with a shared vision of removing this wicked government and restoring good governance in our country. Arguing publicly isn't communication, it's noise. We don't need noise. We need focus on the soon-to-be election. Can you imagine another term for this wicked government? Fighting the government, not each other. Your priority should always be with the people. We don't have time to fight anyone except this wicked government. So clearly, that wicked government statement is prepare to hear that a lot, right? Prepare to hear that a lot. That's a campaign cry, right? The wicked. She added, we must remain laser focused on the enemy and not each other. Our mission is to win the next general election and bring about safety and security. If anyone is not with you, they are against you, and they're surely working with the PNM. I like that. Claiming local government minister Faris Al-Rawi isn't speaking much. Prasad Bisesa quipped, Philip would find work for him. I am not so unkind, she added. Oh, I guess they're looking to what they're trying to say here. They're calling Al-Rawi. They say he's unhappy with the PNM out, so we could bring him over on this side. She also called to Alexander when she read this story on the SSA pastor and also said Alexander could help her when she was searching for a word. Prasad Bisesa warned that there will be all kinds of tactics to damage the UNC from within and outside. Always remember, we must put our rank and file supporters first. This is not about me promoting the children of the UNC into parliament. So, more of the same, right? More of the same. It's not much else to say about this article. The reality is that we, in March 2024, starting to head to full swing, because you're about 1 year from pell-mell election campaigning on walking constituencies and all these things. So all around this time next year, people on the mode. And I see the old Rollers is on the streets, Rollers is doing town meetings and so on. You know, that's something I had to give him credit for. Fine for a prime minister, right? And maybe it's just my poor memory. But as a prime minister, he, even though he's organized PNM town meetings and the people in the meetings is probably PNM people and them kind of thing too, I give him credit for doing that often, you know. No, I mean, I'm doing this a little while now and monitoring the media for some time, and you tend to find that maybe as often as once a year, might be even more often than that, he does these town meetings and move around and sit down there himself and talk to people. He would typically take questions from the press. I think he's the greatest at it, and he's come across angry for no reason. Maybe that's just my own fears and insecurities to make him look. But somehow he say things like, I hear him talking about this, what I would consider a pretty simple topic. You're saying all the pizza places is import pineapple from abroad, and he wants to invest some money in pineapple production locally, or farming, I suppose. And once he able to do that, then the pizza people could come and get pineapples from here, and maybe even we grow enough that we could export. Now, I say that in a very matter-of-fact way just now. I feel like if I had to say that in an exciting way to excite farmers and think I could get to that, I could say, listen, the government is here to put some money into pineapples because we see where the farmers are going and there's a market for it already. And you could say it in an inspiring way and all that, but somehow he seemed to make that song very upsetting. This man is angry about pineapples. It's like, whoa. What's going on with you? But I want to give him credit for always coming out and sitting there and facing people, because to tell you the truth, if I was prime minister, right? Me too feel like I'm going to talk to people too often, you know. I mean, think about it. I do a podcast. I could do that. Me, and I have much to risk. And I sit down here and not talk to anybody. I suppose that episode, I forget why I talk about. When man called me to tell me about why I say, I can't remember why I talk about. So, Footy, see me now, coming out every week to sit down and talk in front of people and take questions about things and think, me, you know, if I doing that at all, no? But again, happy International Women's Day. Happy International Women's Day. Again, I'm trying my best to stay on the righteous path, right? I'm trying my best to stay on the righteous path. So, where righteousness is concerned, I would like to play this as a dedication to all the women on International Women's Day.
I go drink water and mind my business. Mind my business. Drink water and mind my business. Mind my business. I go drink water and mind my business. Mind my business. Drink water and mind my business. Who me? I don't watch people, man. I'm looking for house and land. Who me? I don't watch people things. I water and mind my business. Mind my business. Drink water and mind my business. I go drink water and mind my business. Mind my business. Drink water and mind my business. Me and them can't be friends. I fight the battle and Jah give me health and strength. Now it's we. That can't be English, that had to be French. And some of them just talk the most, like they know it all. But if the ground matter slip and I fall, it's them so go I go drink water and mind my business. Mind my business. Drink water and mind my business. I go drink water and mind my business. Mind my business. Drink water and mind my business. Me and you are no beef. I is the police and you is the thief. The people you think is your friend, them only there cause you have money to spend. And some of them just talk the most, like they know it all. But when your head hot and can't see your way, who you just call? I go drink water and mind my business. Mind my business. Drink water and mind my business. I go drink water and mind my business. Mind my business. Drink water and mind my business.
Great Patrice Roberts. But don't care how I try to walk on the righteous path, right? Again, choke to play tune like these two. Happy International Women's Day. How you like your woman and them? I don't know. I'm going on to Randy Glasgow for the longest while artist to talk about, right? Randy Glasgow to create new calypso competition for soca and chutney artists. Randy Glasgow Productions is known for events like Ladies Night Out Alternative International Comedy Festival, but 2025 he wants to add a calypso competition for soca and chutney artists to his event list. The absence of Soca Monarch over 2 years took away a platform from many evolving artists, and some of them were frustrated, he said in a phone interview with Newsday. Glasgow said, "We are firmly of the opinion that a lot of talent lies within the soca fraternity with the young artists." He said 2 years passed and no consideration was given for young soca artists with reference to having a competition. The International Soca Monarch was last held in 2020 and its winners were Iowa George and Kess with Stage Gone Bad. The competition ran uninterrupted for 27 years and gave visibility to some of soca's most prominent figures today. It is important, and I feel the vision is lost and there is no vision where that is concerned. Soca music is the engine of carnival. If you do not have good soca music, people will be walking the streets instead of jumping the street. All right, Randy. Thanks, Captain Obvious. A lot of effort and energy is needed to be placed in developing soca music and encouraging it. He said, different competitions help to do this. What we realize also to afford soca artists more opportunities, we were thinking of a competition which would also help calypso. This was before Marshall Montano came into the calypso, Glasgow said. All right. So this is basically it, right? He said you're going in and start a competition, and seeing promoters like him, I mean, the promoter is an important part of the backbone of Carnival, right? And he's a very experienced and established promoter for a long time, some of the biggest events in the Carnival. Has he ever done competitions? I am not sure. I think it was mostly very big fets that Randy Glasgow used to do, one of the biggest, right? But he said you're in the competition arena, and I coincidentally saw TC. Artist TC, right? Who likes to say the art form. He likes to say the word art form a lot, you know. I mean, the art form and the art form. You know? I mean, announcer on Ojo, soca artist, some great hits he have over the years, right? And also, people might forget, or youth might have never known, when he was the host of the Soca Star competition that Synergy used to have, which was all eyes on young upcoming soca artists for several years running. I know Fireball had won once, Umi Makano had won once, Kemba Sozano, if he didn't win, he was up there in the winners. Trinidad Killer was a part of that competition before. You have several artists who come through it. And I like what TC was talking about. You know. Well, first, before I get to that, TC in them video clips was dressed crazy. You know what I mean? I don't know. I couldn't hear what he's saying at some point. It's like, why your dressing is crazy. What the hell was TC wearing that day? I don't know if he knew he was going for an interview or what, but that was crazy what he was wearing. Like, TC is a man of substance and style. You know what I mean? You can't wear that again, TC. Get rid of them jeans or them patch, them days done. But substance, you know what I mean? Where he was lacking in style, he had plenty substance, because he was talking about, one of the clips was talking about the idea of banning Trinidad music, and he was basically saying that the people who are in charge of that, it take too long to do something about it. Number one, he's again reflecting that the people who singing about what they're seeing. I feel he should add to it to not just the environment you come from, because let's say I'm in an environment where it's plenty guns and people getting robbed and drugs and thing, and my personality or my upbringing would have caused me to be afraid in that environment, and I would be singing songs of wailing and suffering and so on. But in fairness to these youths now, them fellas and them sing songs of wailing and suffering and fear and escape, and these songs didn't really do as good as the songs that say the gun them down thing. I tell you, I went to Valor. The average car outside of Valor is about $500,000 park up outside of Valor in every parking spot. But when Gunman song come on, it's the most ratatatata you hear, man busting shots inside the club, finger shot it. Pause. You know what I mean? So people like the Gunman music gonna go further than the songs of wailing and tribulation. I think nobody want to hear that too much. Unless there's some great ones that rise to the top, but mostly the violent music probably will reach further. But what TC was saying is this idea of banning music, that is not it. It's basically is a falsehood, number one, he was saying, because on radio, which he's been on for long, 20 years plus, probably TC on radio now, on morning show too, prime time slot. And he writes that you couldn't play unedited music on the radio anyway. And even if a DJ wanted to play one of them songs, they would have edited down and everybody know what the person's saying anyway. But more importantly than that, the way music is consumed now is not it's not governed by anybody. Nobody could govern it because they're going on YouTube and hear the unedited version. They could get it, download MP3s of the original thing. They could go on Apple Music, Spotify, anywhere and listen to music, or listen to a podcast like Private Ryan Mix and hear. I don't know if Private Ryan does that, but I'm sure they have their own DJs who they follow and they do it all the time. So you thinking that you banning it is going to, I think banning it, and I was saying this last week, I'm willing to step back on my idea of whether music should be banned or not, because the whole thing gone too far and it's just like a snowball effect with this thing. But I feel banning it is only for my ears. You know what I mean? That I don't want to be listening to radio and hear that. I don't want to go in a public space and hear too much of that. Like I remember going on the beach one year, me and Zachary and Stacy going to enjoy a little beach. They was try to take a day off of work and going up. And you had to be hearing that Trinidad, a man rolling that speaker like a pull-along suitcase and playing this I don't want to hear that. I come to relax and enjoy my... As a matter of fact, I didn't want to hear no kind of music. I just want to hear the beach and thing. You disturbing the peace. So if it's for my own peace and my own sensitive ears banning it works for, then I guess let me give it a try. But I think TC right. It does nothing to the crime situation. Nothing. It does nothing to stop the mentality of the youths or the disposition of the youths, or what's it really going to do? It's not going to do anything. It's more grandstanding than anything. It's like come out and you say a thing, or like me so and the people older than me say, yes, well, stop that nonsense. And that's it. All that happens is that it gets swept under a rug. You don't hear it no more. But the music continues to play. And more importantly, the sentiment behind the music and the reason for the music, both in terms of the people who make it and the people who receiving it and enjoying it, the sentiment not going to change. I was happy to hear TC talk about that. He also went on to another part of the interview, getting back to Randy Glasgow here. He was talking about how Synergy Soca Star would be an avenue and an outlet for youths. And some of the things that used to happen in terms of the machinery or the competition, he was saying that if you win the competition, you can't come back. I can't remember if he said enter, you can't come back, or if you win, you can't come back. But either way, he was saying that it made for a continuous crop of youths to be coming through every year, meaning a fresh batch. And if you're really interested in the development of the genre or the development of the art form, as he puts it, those are the things you need. And he was also saying that things like calypso, soca monarch and so on should be more like a showcase, like a Grammy, like a production, than a competition. I personally feel they have space for both. He was paralleling not paralleling, pelluciding. What was the name of the word? Pellucid, wherever he was. He was making a comparison between the Grenada Soca Monarch and how big an event it is there versus Trinidad Soca Monarch and how it's not that great. I mean, I feel to have a few reasons for why it's not great, but I also don't feel that Soca Monarch is the greatest development tool for young talent. I think what he's talking about there with Soca Star is a better alternative to, if we're serious about developing young talent, which, like, while he's talking about it, I want to ask him, well, TC, if that was working so well, why it stopped? We must look into that too to try to understand, okay, if this was such a great thing, how come we don't have it anymore? Is it sponsorship? Is it something we can invest in as private sector? Is it something the government could put money into? Is there opportunity to do it on TV6, or is it that could only stay on Synergy? What is the issue? The reason I say it's more of a developmental tool is it was a competition, but it was a more in-depth and long-form competition. It wasn't you and your team coming up with something on all your own and going up there and hoping to compete against Bungie Garland all of a sudden. The playing field was a little more level, and you had, I want to say it was like 12 weeks or 8 weeks of show. So I don't know how much filming it takes to come down to 8 episodes, 8 hour-long episodes. But one of the things that was good is you would see them in band rooms. I remember one particular challenge they had with the artists was they had to go and sing this song with a band in the band room. And the band was dragging on them. So the band started to drag on them or play wrong chord or go off course, or, you know. And one of the things that they was learning in the moment is that you are the lead singer. You are to command the band. So I always remember the other part of it where the fella's song, the keyboard man, but some musician bad, you know. Because in the middle of the man's song, the man started playing he started playing Mario Brothers song in the midst of the man performers. And you saw the difference with some performers who get completely thrown off by it, who saying who, you know, and some of them turn around and give the band a kind of vibes, and then the band start to play right. When the band start to play right and kick up, then they perform. And the little lessons they was teaching them there is like, listen, you perform in places, the DJ will make mistakes, the band will make mistakes, but remember, you there to entertain the audience. You can't turn your back on the whole audience and start to argue with the band, or you can't just go along with the band doing it. You had to straighten back up. You in charge of the whole thing. You in charge of what happened behind you, as well as what happened in front of you. You remember the little situation with Nessa Preppy last year? Maybe Nessa Preppy could have done a soca star. And maybe she should have done a soca star manager too if they had a management competition. But you get to meet artists, and they were critiquing them and showing them the thing. I want to say Carl Beaver Henderson was part of that. With helping artists with production, helping them with how to deliver and how to put together a song, and helping them structure the song. Maybe I'm mixing it up with digital Rising Stars a little bit, but even Rising Stars, you don't see happening again, like that competition going down completely. There's no Rising Stars. So when you see they have a big gap between the superstars you have in a genre now and the up and coming people, it means that you're really not managing an industry. You're not doing anything to develop or encourage people. How do we transition young people who is 5, 6, 7 years old in primary school, who interested and love soca and see it as a career? How are you transitioning them from there all the way up to the top? Let me use sports as an analogy, right? When I went into Fatima, or when I was in Newtown, I used to play cricket and football for Newtown. So by the time I went to Fatima, before the school starts, before the first term, you went to cricket practice, I believe it was. No, if it's summer, it had to be football, because football started in September. So I went football practice and thing and make the under 14 team, and then I play under 14 football, and a couple of coaches, the under 16 coach used to watch the under 14 team, so I make the under 16 B team, and I went and play with them and play matches. You know what I mean? I was there with that, and then for cricket it was the same thing. By under 14 in Form 1 or Form 2, I was done playing under 16 cricket already. So there's a system, and then you make the first 11, none of which I made. I think I played first 11. No, I never played first 11, nothing. I played basketball for Tranquil when I went in, for the senior Tranquil team when I went A-levels. And so again, there's a system through which you come from youth to professional, because Bravo was one of them people who play cricket in Tranquil as well. And we'll look at where he reached now with his cricket. So in some sports, there's a clear development part to turn a youth into a professional. I'm not saying it's great or it's perfect. It could be much better, but at least it's there. Even in calypso, when you look at it, I was telling you a few weeks ago about a youth named Zachary Ransom. You are going to hear in some years, and I will come here and play Zachary Ransom calypso songs that win the Calypso Monarch. You will hear that. But Zachary Ransom started off as a little boy singing calypso, coming all through the years. And he will become professional and play. Same thing with Aaron Duncan, same thing with Marshall Montano. There's a matriculation system to come all the way through. So as much as they used to say calypso dead and calypso that and everything and boring and all these kind of things, and you see now the calypso maintains a certain level and a certain place where Skinner Park still is Skinner Park after all these years selling out, and you have 20, 30, 40 artists coming to sing proper calypso in Calypso Monarch semifinals all the time. Again, because of that system that they're pulling through. But the soca don't seem to have any system at all. It's a huge disconnect. So what you have is a artist. You have people like Chucky, Karina Shea, Stacey Sobers. Several of them artists, they could sing anything. There's an artist. When they're on a stage, they could sing ballad, they could sing. Them as singers. Them is not a joke, right? And they come through the calypso arena, and they can then transition to soca at any point. Remember, Marshall said calypso is soca and soca is calypso, right? You must never forget that, right? But the thing about it is there's no real pull through. The Soca Monarch stands on its own, and then the school Soca Monarch, sometimes it's a one, sometimes it's a one. They want to turn to whining and carrying on and jumping and waving flag and thing. They want to turn and them go down a certain road. So you're seeing a certain disconnect between it. And if Soca Star was one of them connecting points, and Soca Star is gone, and even Rising Stars if they used to do soca, and that gone, I think TC absolutely right, and it will be interesting to see what Randy Glasgow does with a competition here, because what we need is several, if competitions is a vehicle, we need several competitions for several age groups and at several levels so that people could pull all the way through. Now, as we talk in competition, right, I did see as well a, where did it go? Now, as we talk in competition as well, right, and I have a woman's song to play, right, I do want to play something for you because I did come here and I talk about the intellectual chutney monarch and the chutney monarch and how innovative those competitions were and some of the rules behind those competitions, right? I remember them. I remember that discussion. We come back in the end and we say that Nyla won the international chutney monarch. And I did go and take in her performance, and I will say that she deserved to win, right? She deserved to win. I think by a stretch. Or let me put it this way. You see how Marshall was in the calypso competition where his performance, in semis in particular, you could see the difference between his performance and some of the other performances in terms of the whole show, how rehearsed he was and so on. That's how Nyla was in the chutney monarch. So congratulations to her. And as a woman and an uplifting song, I had to play this song. But I think you will be surprised, and I've been meaning to play this for you. You will be surprised by the song that Nyla use or play or sing and win the intellectual chutney monarch. Remember, not intellectual, the chutney monarch. Yeah, the intellectual chutney monarch is what she win. Keep in mind, this is not chutney soca monarch. This is chutney music, not chutney, not the fusion between chutney and soca. It's chutney. And this is what Nyla sing and beat people.
It feel like the first jam of the year, best by the year. It's like a morning I wake up, one blessing downtown. Why you doing me that? Something in the atmosphere, no money but I don't care. Tell them I will be there. Thing I relax, we still burn. Melody and real woman, I come in to give them jam. Anywhere that you see me, it's carnival. So treat this like the first time. Every time it feel like the first jam of the year, jam of the year, jam of the year. It feel like the first best of the year, best of the year, best of the year. I go be the first to reach, jump and the last to leave. We go be best in love, best in love. Go be the first to reach, jump and the last to leave. We go be best in love, best in love. It's like a spaceship and full of blast off and touchdown. How the people them man. New oil in the engine, yeah. I dirty and I don't care. They vibing and missing me. Are you ready for bacchanal? They find like a criminal. Jump up and then get up back. Anywhere that you see me, it's carnival. So treat this like the first time. Every time it feel like the first jam of the year, jam of the year, jam of the year. It feels like the first jam of the year, jam of the year.
Intellectual chutney monarch, right? You work out that math somewhere, right? Whoever on Nyla team is bosses because it wasn't. Nyla had some great years in terms of big hits in the carnival, and maybe this was not one where she had all the big hits, but she certainly walked away with $250,000 or whatever the price was for the chutney monarch. Because if you feel she ain't gonna put some dollar and some tabla behind that and thing and make sure that song like a chutney wrong. Go and watch the performance, right? Great performance by Nyla Blackman. But again, as much as we play an uplifting song about woman, they choking me to play tune like this.
It was a big bacchanal just the other day with Enid and Shimakume. Big comments the other day with Enid and Shimakume. I ain't want to hear, so I passing straight. A fella pull me and tell me wait. Same time Enid husband get off the bus. Well, it's now the Makume start to cuss. She say, look Enid, remember it's you who say how you hire your husband so total bay. Your sweet man does come home in the house too. He could only watch and he can't say, oh, yeah Enid, woman, why you lying on me? Girl, I'm not in your category. And if even self what you've said is true, you have a man with your husband too. It's me, but I felt so shame when I hear she called him my name. He's so shocked, he don't know what to do, so he stand up there listening to. A policeman was right on the beat, run to make an arrest, but the comment sweet. Enid is a big socialist in South. She want to cuss, but she hardly open she mouth. Girl, you should shame to curse me for true. It's me, Enid, who you talking to. When you were sick in the hospital, I lend you me dress, me nighty and all. What you know about shame, the Makume say. You didn't shame last week Saturday when your husband come home earlier. Instead, you had to hide the man underneath the bed. When the man hear that, he face come pale as mud. If you choke him, you can't get blood. Watching the wife and shaking the head, I say, Lord, well tonight she dead. And next comments, woman listening shout, hey, hey, mouth open man Tory jump out. This time the Makume put she hand on she waist, and if you see how she getting on in the place, she say, look Enid, it's better you leave and go. Don't let me talk everything I know, because you and Doris couldn't agree. You tie the child in the girl belly. I don't care what you say to do, I am still Mistress Enid Bedu. Bailiff take back my TV set, and I never thief peas in the market yet. Now the husband shame, he couldn't take no more. He tell the wife, girl, come let we go. He hold she hand and he pulling she, but she tugging away from me. The Makume say, yes, you manny cool. You better take she away for true. She hire so dotish and borrow kid. What she give to rob is that you take and eat. He say, listen young woman, stop making strife. You want to put me against my wife. In front me face you're lying on she. My wife ain't have nobody with me. I know that man you are speaking about. That is her cousin Rufus from South. When he come home with a sleeping tree, sometime I myself does take he for me.
If you don't know Bacchanal and Calypso, you're a great mighty Duke. You don't know Bacchanal and Calypso. But I just want to let you know too as we wrap this up, you know what I mean? I will here for the week, you know, I'll leave it only with a few because any man who worth his salt, know at the end of the day, these women and them had the last say.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story about you here is true. Only the needle has been changed to protect the record. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here to join together this man and woman in matrimony. If any man feels that they should not be joined together, speak up now or forever hold his tongue. Passing, stop the ceremony. I said, wait, passing, that woman belong to me. I paid careful the dress she wearing. I thought she was a guest in somebody's wedding. Reverend, try and understand. If she marry, I would have to be she husband. Stella, Stella, how you gonna do that to me? Stella, I fought in the eyes. Oh, I love it. I paid me now any new dress. Stella, how you gonna do that? Stella, listen to me, Stella, listen, Stella. Well, the priest almost passed out right in front of the three of them. When the old man shouted, Reb, the bridegroom is my best friend. Only last night he come down by me, drink me scotch and I lend him money. Reb, if you marry both of them at all, prepare yourself to preach to a funeral. Stella, listen to me, Stella, listen. Stella! Stella! I love you! What he could do for you that I can't tell her, you want the bung of flour. I want the sugar. Stella, listen to me. Well, the whole church went in a big uproar. The bridegroom snatched the old man and tell him don't talk no more. This ain't no time to make a confession. Told the priest, go on with the sermon. The old man raised the hand in protest, snatched the bride and ripped off the dress. Stella, I didn't mean to do, I didn't do that. But I had to do something to just to prove to you, Stella. It's my money. It's Stella! Stella! I love you, Stella, I love you. This time you should see the bridegroom throwing punches left and right. The bride hug up the old man, begging him, honey, don't fight. I was only marrying to see if you love me. You prove your point. Let's go, honey. Leave the bridegroom on the floor. Hug up the old man and walk out the door. Hear him? Stella, you mustn't make me cry. I know it's joke you was making, Stella. But you know you almost give me hard trouble, Stella. Stella, I love you. I love you, Stella. I love you. I love you, Stella. I love you. Love you, go, darling.
Voice of the Lord Nelson. You know Lord Nelson? Them woman and them in charge at all times. Them woman and them in charge at all times.
I was playing a boss, but look at me cross. Friends, this thing reach so far. Man, white in the south, I still in a doubt. I pick up with Maria. The introduce her to me, darling. That's Lord Blakey. Oh, what a lovely face. She put on the angel smile on me, and that was the case of me bowling Maria. Girl, I love you so bad. Maria, if you leave me now, it'll be hard. I don't know what made me love so, but she kept me sweet, what she gave me the wrong height. Let's go! Boiling tongue every day, she do with me what she like. I can't catch me breath, I frightened to death. You could ask me, never mind. It have a thing she does do, I can't tell it to you because plenty people go cry. And yet still it have some deceitful one in here will say that Lord Blakey light. I'm a bowling Maria. Girl, I love you so bad. Maria, if you leave me now, will be hard. She's somewhere hiding in the back. Yeah, as I finish sing and get me money to take everything. This thing in me mind, I want to say it all the time. It's that thing that grabs me so. All over the night, she just wake me for fight for what I really don't know. And I can't make no fuss, cause it might face for bust. So you see the position, friend. But the old people have a talk, they just say the longest rope of an end of me bowling Maria. Girl, I love you so bad. Maria, if you leave me now, will be hard. Me granny, she turn wrong and tell me, Sauka feka pui, Dijol maka well winning. Looking cooler, easy to fool, any woman could try the fate. I'll tell you it's frank, got some cash in the bank, so come before it's too late. And don't make a mess, I'll give you my address, any woman could come by me. And when you leave anyone or your friend want to try, you could send them by Lord Blakey of me bowling Maria. You better tell them the fact. When you leave me, girl, you have to come back. It's not easy to spend late money. Maria, let them know the pressure you got to undergo.
It's songs, if you ain't get it trendy yet, it's song about woman and the name, right? You remember this one?
Jessica, you ain't hear me calling. Jessica, this is Jubilee morning. Jessica, girl, you're making a big mistake. I can't wait until they break. I'm coming. Listen to the steel band beat. Hear them rap and something sweet. Oh. Listen to the DJ man. Making woman shaking bam bam oh. I'm coming. Jessica, like you hear the rhythm, sweet songs coming from the steel drum. All stars and invaders, desperados jamming, and all you say is you're coming. Listen to the steel band beat, hear them rap and something sweet. Oh. Listen to the DJ man, making woman shaking bam bam oh. I'm coming.
Hey, I'm leaving all there now. I will see you all next week Tuesday. Yo, let can't say I ain't come out Tuesday this week, eh? Might be bright and early, but it's Tuesday. If you're listening to this any other day, that's your fault, right? talk to you next week.